Have you ever noticed how one man's words can move billions of dollars and change the course of an entire city's future? That man is Tiff Macklem, Governor of the Bank of Canada, the one voice that decides whether Canadians can breathe easier or suffocate under the weight of their mortgages. And just last week, buried inside a dry speech in Mexico City, he sent a quiet but unmistakable warning. A warning that by spring of 2026, Hamilton homeowners could be staring into a financial collapse that few will be ready to face. Now, most people don't pay attention to central bank speeches. They hear words like inflation targeting and scenario-based models and tune it all out. But hidden in the jargon was a message that changes everything. The Bank of Canada has officially moved housing from a side note in their decisions to the center of the inflation fight. Translation: rate cuts will not be used to save housing anymore. Not after the chaos of 2020 to 2022, when cheap money set the city on fire. Prices surged 40% in just 2 years, and Hamilton went from working class affordability to one of the most distorted housing markets in the country. The bank knows that mistake and can't let it happen again, which means if you're waiting for lower rates to save your payments or to rescue your home value, you may already be trapped in a game you can't win. Because here's what they're not saying out loud. Cuts are coming, yes, but not enough to fix what's already broken. And every cut that arrives will be weighed against the risk of reigniting housing inflation. That puts Hamilton in the crosshairs. The city is already fragile. The average home price is down 6.6% in a single month this summer, one of the sharpest drops anywhere in Ontario. Condos are sitting on the market unsold. Detached homes are bleeding equity, buyers waiting on the sidelines, paralyzed by uncertainty. And yet homeowners cling to the same hope. Don't worry, the market always comes back. But here's the reality. Sometimes the market doesn't bounce back in time. Sometimes life forces your hand before the recovery ever arrives. That's what sets the stage for collapse. Not just numbers on a chart, but ordinary people. Families, retirees, young buyers stretched to the edge, all tied to a central bank that has already decided housing won't be protected this time. Hamilton isn't just another city, it's ground zero for what happens when policy, debt, and reality collide. And if you own a home here, no matter when you bought it, your financial future now runs through one office in Ottawa. And the message from that office is chilling. Housing is no longer untouchable. Now, here's the part most homeowners don't want to hear. Yes, the Bank of Canada has signaled more cuts are coming. Maybe 3 by next spring. And if you're holding your breath for relief, that probably sounds like good news, but it isn't. Because when Macklem made housing part of the inflation fight, he changed the rules. It means rate cuts aren't designed to rescue you, they're designed to squeeze you. Think about it. Mortgage payments have already doubled for many households. A small cut of 1%, maybe 2%, doesn't unwind the damage. It doesn't restore affordability. It doesn't bring back the equity that's already gone. The math simply doesn't work. And when the math stops working, the market breaks. That's what makes Hamilton so vulnerable. This city is loaded with debt. Reconstruction condos bought at the peak, detached homes stretched by variable rates, and families caught in the middle. In late 2022, I had a seller who told me exactly this. I'll wait. The market always comes back. She believed that by the following year, prices would recover, but life had other plans. By spring 2024, she was forced to sell, and the market hadn't bounced. We sold her home for $78,000 less than she could have gotten 2 years earlier. That's not a number on a chart. That's tuition money, retirement savings evaporated. That's the real cost of waiting. And here's the truth most people don't want to face. Unless you have a 10-year time horizon, you're not waiting for a recovery, you're gambling. And in Hamilton, the house always wins. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'll just hold until rates come down, understand this. The Bank of Canada has already made housing the sacrifice. Cuts won't save the market, they'll expose it. And if you own in Hamilton, that means every month you wait is another month the math gets worse. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to make sure you see the trap before you fall into it. That's why I put together a free seller guide, so you can understand your options before the market decides for you. The link's in the description. Don't wait until you're cornered. If rate cuts aren't the rescue, then what's the real threat? Mortgage renewals. Between now and 2026, hundreds of billions of dollars in Canadian mortgages are set to reset at higher rates. And Hamilton is one of the hardest hit cities in the country because unlike Toronto, where households often have deeper pockets, Hamilton owners stretched everything just to get in. Many bought at the peak, locking in at record high prices and record low rates. And now those cheap loans are expiring. Renewals are coming due at 2, 3, even 4 points higher for some families, That means payments jumping by thousands of dollars a month, sometimes more. And here's the part nobody's prepared for. You don't get to renegotiate with the market. You renew at the rate you're offered. If you can't afford it, the bank doesn't wait. You either find the money or you're forced to sell. That's the domino effect building beneath Hamilton right now. Families who thought they could ride it out suddenly realizing they can't. Investors who banked on cheap leverage discovering their tenants' rent doesn't even come close to covering their doubled mortgage cost. And retirees with paid off homes watching the value of their nest egg shrink month after month as the pressure forces more listings onto the market. This is why 2026 is the breaking point. Not because the Bank of Canada says so, but because thousands of homeowners will simply run out of road at the same time. And when that happens, prices don't gently slide, they fall off a cliff. It's already begun. The 6.6% drop in prices we just experienced wasn't caused by a flood of new supply. It was caused by fear. Fear of renewals, fear of payments people already know they can't carry, fear of being the last one holding the bag. And that fear is contagious. Think back to 2008 in the United States. It wasn't just subprime mortgages that brought the market down. It was the wave of forced selling that rippled through entire cities. One foreclosure sign after another until confidence collapsed. Hamilton is staring at the exact same setup. Not tomorrow, not next week, but as renewals pile up, the math becomes impossible to ignore. Because when thousands of families are forced to sell in a market with too few buyers, there's only one direction left for prices to go, and it's not up. So where does all of this lead? To one unavoidable conclusion. Hamilton is not headed for a soft landing. It's headed for collapse. The signs are already here, listings sitting longer, buyers walking away from closings. Appraisals coming in short, forcing sellers to slash prices just to make the deal happen. And that's before the full wave of renewals even hits. Spring of 2026 is a deadline because by then, too many households will have reached the breaking point. Payments they can't cover, equity they can't recover, choices they no longer get to make. And when the selling begins in earnest, it won't stop at one or two neighborhoods. It will ripple through the entire city. Downtown, the mountains, Stony Creek, Ancaster. No corner of Hamilton escapes the selling. That's how markets collapse. Not in theory, not in headlines, but in real streets with real families watching for sale signs stack up until the only way forward is down. And here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. The Bank of Canada will not save you. They've already said it. Housing is no longer untouchable. Cuts won't save the market, they'll expose it. And if you own in Hamilton, that means every month you wait is another month the math gets worse. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to make sure you see the trap before you fall into it.